Hi, this is Scott Weavil, Principal Attorney with Weavil Law. In the last video, I spoke about things that tenants can do while entering into leases during the pandemic. I immediately heard from landlords asking about things from their perspective. So today I'm going to talk about 4 areas that landlords need to check in their current lease forms and consider going forward, whether it's entering into new leases or entering into amendments or extensions. Number one, leases typically provide that the landlord is to provide certain essential services. You need to check your lease forms to see if access is one of those services. It shouldn't be. In fact, your lease should go so far as to specifically specify that access is not an essential service. The reason that matters is because interruption of essential services might give rise to rent abatement rights. In addition, considering adding a provision that if the essential service is not being provided due to circumstances outside of your control, such as due to a governmental closure order, there is no abatement right. Next, also check your lease for casualty clauses that provide for rent abatement when access is inhibited. Usually, casualty refers to physical property damage, but it's slightly unclear at the moment if contamination would qualify. So, if you're entering into a new agreement, absolutely specify that contamination does not constitute a casualty event. Number 3, while you're at it, also check the condemnation clause covering governmental takings. Typically, a governmental closure would not be a taking because it would just be a temporary taking that does not trigger rent abatement rather than a permanent taking that would, but it's something to check. Last, check your force majeure or acts of God clause. Usually these clauses excuse performance in the event of extreme circumstances that are outside of the party's control. Definitely specify that yours includes pandemic language. And note that force majeure clauses usually do not relieve the parties of financial obligations, such as the tenant paying rent, but make sure that your lease form says that. Finally, commercial leasing in the pandemic is new ground. We're a firm that represents both landlords and tenants, and so we encourage both sides to be open about their circumstances and try to find mutually agreeable solutions. If you need any help with the lease or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us here at Weavil Law.